Allah, the most merciful and the most gracious. Students, today we are going to have the last topic of this chapter, behavior, and the topic is social behavior. This is a type of behavior in which different groups of animals they interact with each other, and these types of interactions can be hostile or friendly. It means the animals can show anger to one another or they can have a friendly relationship with other group of animals, and these behaviors are associated with the number of individuals which are living together and their activities also. This is known as the social behavior. Now we are going to discuss the importance of the social behavior, that is, when the animals show the friendly behavior, a very good cooperation is achieved as a result of this social behavior, and it has its adaptive significance. Means, if the behavior of some other organism is good to you, it will become easy for you to adapt to the environment. It also increases the efficiency and effectiveness of the species over the other species. So, the hostile and the helpful relationships, which are intraspecific interactions, let's talk about this. This type of behavior can be seen in bees' hive, and it is also seen in the worker bees within the hive. There can also be the helpful interaction, which is also found again in these bees. As different bees have specific duties which are assigned to them, they will perform all those duties and over all other functions of the hive. Then there are the animal societies and aggregations. A society or a social group is an individual or a group of individuals of the same species that interact with each other and they influence each other's behavior in different ways. Or the animals or organisms living together in organized groups. They are said to live in the societies, just like the human beings. So, there are some key components or the constituents of a society. The behavioral interaction is the key characteristic of the society. And the characteristics of the well organized societies include cooperation and division of labor, which is assigning the tasks to each member of the group. And these duties or the tasks which are assigned to each member are according to the sex, age, groups, or the castes. Such as some members are specialized for finding food, for reproduction, for rearing, and the defense mechanisms. And the examples of animal societies and aggregations are a hive of bees again, a pack of wolves, or a school of fishes. Now we will talk about the animal aggregations. It is a simple aggregation or a group of animals that may be together, but they do not have any kind of behavioral interaction. For example, huge flocks of birds of many different species which are roosting together in trees are aggregations. They are simply the groups, but they do not have any kind of social interaction. Another example is a group of zebras, buffaloes, which are not societies because they belong to different species. So they are just the animal aggregations. Then comes the agonistic behavior. Agon meaning struggle. It is a variety of, it includes this kind of behavior, includes a variety of threats or actual combat that settles disputes between individuals in a population. So, this kind of behavior shows anger in between animals of different groups. Now, if we talk about the constituents and importance of the agonistic behavior, first of all, it uses a great deal of energy because the angry behavior always demands much energy. It may also cause injury when they are in some dispute or when they have to settle a fight. Then agonistic behavior is displayed to maintain the social order, for example, territoriality and the dominance hierarchy. We will talk about them one by one. So, a territorial behavior is the defense of an area by an organism of the group. The organisms will show this kind of behavior to protect their area, which is lined or marked by them. And this kind of behavior is shown against organisms of the same or different species. Now, the important points about territorial behavior are there are always the threats which are displayed between owners of the adjacent territories. For example, if there is some apparent conflict or a fight or an aggressive behavior which is associated within different territorialities, but actual fighting which would detrimental to the species is rare and is replaced by the threats, gestures and postures, etc. For example, if the two groups are against each other, they won't harm one another at first place. They would only show the signs of threats and they will show their anger to one another. Once a territory is established through aggressive interactions, relative peace prevails as boundaries are recognized and respected, just like in human beings. For example, if there is a group of people and they have another group of their enemies, they won't harm them, they won't harm one another immediately, but they would show the signs of their anger, and then if there is some very serious problem, then they would attack one another. So, the very good example of the territorial behavior is the mountain gorillas and different groups of other animals. For example, here is the picture in which the dogs or the wolves have been shown. They define their territory by marking trees in their area through the urination. Three-spined stickleback fish present their red belly to other animals in their territory, and the other males respond by attacking or leaving. So, this is another example of the territorial behavior. Now, if we talk about the mountain gorillas, they are highly social, relatively non territorial, and live in groups, which are called troops. The oldest and the strongest adult male, which is called the silver black, is usually the dominant one of the troop and has exclusive breeding rights with their females. It means they have the right to choose any female from their group and they can mate with that female. And different adolescent females means the growing up females, they will be transferred to different troops once they reach to the age of about 8 years. And the adolescent males, on the other hand, usually remain in the troop until they can leave and establish a new troop on their own as the silver black. Silver black is the male who has the exclusive rights to breed with any female of the group. This is very important, keep it in your minds. Although the gorillas typically they are not very aggressive, but they do exhibit territorial behavior by standing upright on their bottom two legs and pounding their chests in order to intimidate whatever threat they have been given. And these gestures, however, are more for show and aren't usually violent. It means they pound their chest just to give a threat to the other animal, but they would not harm the other animal or they won't show any violent behavior. Then comes the dominance hierarchy, that is also a type of the agonistic behavior. In dominance hierarchy, each animal establishes a rank that determines its access to the resource. It means the strong animal would have the maximum right to access to have an access to the resources or food or something. For example, the dominant individuals obtain most access to the resources needed for reproduction, including food, space, and to mate. In some animals, dominance is a simple function of aggressiveness, who is itself influenced by the sex hormones. So, the organism or the animal in which the more sex hormones are released, they would have maximum rights to get access to the resources or to their mates. A very good example is the pecking order or the social hierarchy, which is much like a man's life, in which the human beings, who are strong ones or who are the wealthy ones, they would have maximum access to the food resources and to all other resources. In this type of behavior, which is exhibited by the hens, it is demonstrated that the society of chicken evolves a hierarchy as the result of pecking each other. For example, if several hens which are unfamiliar to one another, they are put together, they respond by chasing and pecking one another. And finally, a clear peck order would be established in which the strongest hen would be given the alpha or first rank, and it is named as alpha or first ranked hen. And this peck order is the dominant one. This alpha hen is not pecked by any other hen and can usually drive off all others by threats rather than actual pecking. So the hen who is strong enough and who is given the rank of alpha hen would just show gestures and postures and gives off the threats. The alpha hen, in the same way, has the first access to the resources, for example, the food, and the beta or second ranked hen, it subdues all others except the alpha, and so on down the line to the omega or the lowest animal. So, alpha would stand at the top rank, then comes the beta, then comes omega, and then the lowest animals, which would have the least access to any resource and which is considered as weak. So, this was all about different types of behaviors. The last, altruism, is left, that we will discuss in the next video. Thank you so much.